Hello mga sisi! Welcome back to my channel. Now please don't forget to subscribe to Ruti and Stitch. Like our videos. If you have any questions or requests, just leave a message on the comment box below. So gagawin natin yung second part ng ating sunflower baby dress. Ito yung beanie part. So gagawa tayo ng hat. Now using your green yarn, make a slip knot and then chain 3. And on your first chain, make 12 double crochet. Now, once na complete natin yung first 12 double crochet sa ating first chain, i-connect natin yung ating two ends by using a slip stitch. So maglalagay tayong slip stitch sa taas ng ating first double crochet on our first row. So once na complete na natin ating first row, on our second row, mag-chain 2 tayo to start and then make 2 double crochet on each stitch hanggang matapos ang ating second row. Now, once natatapos na natin ang ating second row, i-connect ulit natin yung ating two ends by making a slip stitch on top of our first double crochet for our second row. So, yan. Maglalagay tayo ng slip stitch. And then, we're going to connect the two ends. So, on our third row, chain 2 tayo. And then, on our first stitch, maglalagay tayo ng 2 double crochet. And then, sa susunod na stitch, maglalagay lang tayo ng 1 double crochet. At uulitin lang natin itong same pattern na to hanggang matapos natin ang buong row 3. So, once na natapos natin yung ating row 3, again, i-connect natin yung two ends by placing a slip stitch on top of the first double crochet for our third row. And that would connect the two ends. Now, to start our row 4, we're going to chain 2. And then, we're going to make 2 double crochet on the first stitch. And then, sa susunod na dalawang next stitches, maglalagay lang tayo ng 1 double crochet on each stitch. So, again, that's 2 double crochet on the first stitch. And then, sa susunod na dalawang stitch, 1 double crochet on each stitch. Uulitin lang na natin to hanggang matapos ang row 4. And then, pag natapos na natin, i-connect lang natin yung two ends by placing that slip stitch on top of the first double crochet. So, pag natapos na natin ang row 4, ilalak natin and then cut the excess yarn. Magpapalit na tayo ng color. So, we're going to use the sunny yellow color and then make a slip knot. I-slip stitch lang natin anywhere sa ating previous row, pero ang gagamitin lang natin ay ang back loop lang ng previous row. So, slip stitch natin para ma-connect natin yung ating yellow yarn. So, pagkatapos natin i-slip stitch, mag-chain 2 tayo to start our row 5. And then, just using the back loop of the previous row, maglalagay tayo ng 2 double crochet on the first stitch. And then, on the next 3 stitches, maglalagay lang tayo ng 1 double crochet on each stitch. So, uulitin lang natin tong same pattern na to hanggang matapos natin ang row 5. At pag natapos natin yung row 5, i-connect lang natin ulit yung 2 ends by placing a slip stitch on top of the first double crochet of the row. So, again, for this row, back loop lang ang gagamitin natin hanggang matapos. Now, natapos na natin yung ating row 5. At i-connect na natin yung 2 ends natin. Now, for row 6, babalik ulit tayo using both loops na. So, for row 6 to 8, mag-chain to tayo to start the row and then make 1 double crochet on each stitch until the end of the row. So, mag-stop na tayong mag-increase at maglalagay lang tayo ng 1 double crochet on each stitch. Paikot yan. Now, once we're done, we're going to make a slip stitch on top of the first double crochet for each row to connect the ends. So, that's from row 6 to row 8. Now, natapos na natin yung row 8 natin. And then, we're going to slip stitch. Then, chain 2. And make 1 double crochet on each stitch until the end of the row. So, row 7 na pala itong ginagawa natin and as I mentioned, hanggang row 8 gagawin natin itong same pattern na to. Kung gusto nyo habaan, pwede kayo magdagdag ng row. But, natapos na natin, i-connect na natin yung 2 ends using a slip stitch ulit. So, ang gagawin lang natin ay magpapalit tayo ng yarn color. Pero same pattern pa rin ang gagawin natin. So, we're going to use the canary yellow yarn and slip stitch it anywhere on the previous row. And then, same pattern pa rin. Chain 2 and then make 1 double crochet on each stitch until the end of the row. So, this is from row 9 to row 14. So, bale, from row 6 to row 14, hindi na tayo mag-i-increase. 1 double crochet on each stitch na lang ang gagawin nating pattern. Now, once na complete natin yan, i-connect lang natin lagi yung ends using a slip stitch on the first double crochet of the row. So, natapos na natin yung row 14. We're going to chain 2 for row 15. And then, we're going to start with 2 double crochet on the first stitch. And then 1 double crochet on the next stitch. So, ulitin natin tong same pattern na to all throughout ng row 15. And then, once na-complete na natin yung row 15, we're going to just connect the ends using a slip stitch on top of the first double crochet of the row. So, natapos na natin yung row 15 natin, i-connect na natin yung ends. And then, for row 16, we're going to chain 2. And using just the back loop this time, we're going to place 3 double crochet on each stitch until the end of the row. So, gagawa na tayo ng ruffles for the hat. So, we're going to make 3 double crochet on each stitch on the back loop only sa buong row 16. So, once na natapos na natin yan, i-connect ulit natin yung ends using a slip stitch on top of the first double crochet for the row. So, once you're done, just lock and cut the excess yarn. Now, babalikan natin yung ating front loop na naiwan sa color green from row 4. We're going to use the green color again, make a slip knot, and then slip stitch on the remaining front loop of row 4. And then once na-connect na natin yung yarn, we're going to chain. Not necessarily chain, but we're going to slip stitch, and then we're going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to make shell stitch dito. So, skip 1 stitch, and then on the next stitch, we're going to place 2 double crochet, then chain, then treble, and then another 2 double crochet. So, 5 stitches ang gagawin natin to make the shell stitch. So, ulitin ko lang, medyo nakakalito. Pagkatapos yung i-connect yung inyong green yarn, skip 1 stitch, and then on the next stitch, make the 2 double crochet, and then 1 treble, and then another 2 double crochet all on the same stitch. Then, skip 1 stitch, and then make a single crochet on the next stitch. And then, uulitin lang ulit natin yung ating shell stitch sa susunod. So, we're going to skip 1 stitch and then the shell stitch, and then ulitin lang natin yung same pattern all throughout yan nung ating remaining front loop para sa row 4. So, once na natapos natin yung loop o yung front loop na naiwan for row 4, we're going to connect the ends. We're going to just slip stitch doon sa kung saan natin ikinonect yung ating first stitch. So, slip stitch lang natin ng ganyan. Secure nyo lang para i-connect yung end, and then we're going to lock and cut the excess yarn. Now, we're going to create the stem. For this video, hindi ko na napakita kung paano gawin yung pinaka-stem, but I have put the written pattern on the left side of this video, so just check it. So, bale, yung ginawa ko to create the stem ay nag-chain 3 ako, make 3 double crochet on the first row, and then connect nyo yung two ends using a slip stitch, and then every row mag-increase lang ako sa first stitch, and gagawin ko to hanggang maabot ko yung row 6. After that, 1 row lang ng 1 double crochet on each stitch, and then lock, at magtira kayo ng yarn to attach the stem on top of the hat. So, ganyan lang. I-stitch ko lang siya. So, tapos na yung ating hat for our beanie for this flower dress. I hope you like it. Please don't forget to subscribe to Ruti and Stitch. Thank you!